And welcome back to another episode of the Blockchain Brew Show. Today, we're going to cover some major crypto news, including the Trump, the Trump media group, Crypto.com Treasury. Now, I'm going to save a lot of that for the evening show later tonight because T-Square would get a lot of FOMO if I went really deep into that story without him. And Crow is more up his alley, but shout out to Crow fam. Shout out to anyone holding Crow. It's easily the top gainer today among top coins, among major coins. And yeah, so what's up, Nesquik? Sorry, I don't I don't hate you. I just did the thumb by going and finding an old one and then putting a new tweet on it. So yeah, just impromptu. So let's see here. Yeah, crypto.com Treasury, the Trump media group, has really become the largest holder of Crow in the world. So that's pretty big stuff. I wasn't thinking that until now. So let's go ahead and jump into some news. Share my screen here. By the way, I obviously don't have a beer because it is 9:15 a.m. where I'm at, Pacific Standard Time. But I have had 2 white monsters. Well, this is my second white monster, and I'm about to create a third. So there you go. I'll still give you the ASMR pop. So share my screen here and we will jump into some news. The biggest news of the day, in my opinion, other than the Trump media group, Crypto.com Treasury, the biggest news of the day is Tom Lee calling the Ethereum bottom. He did this like 12 hours ago or something, and he literally said that Ethereum will bottom and bounce within the next 12 hours. And it's sort of getting that bounce right now, but you know, the verdict is out. We're going to see if Tom Lee is right. However, you know, when a multi-billionaire tells you that he's about to dump $1 billion into Ethereum on a dip, don't fade it, right? Let's see here. Okay, so we shared a lot of this last night on the stream. Let me make sure I'm on stage because T-Square isn't here to make sure that I share my screen. Yes, coffee is also a brew. This is true. A monster is not really a brew, but it is caffeinated, so it's kind of the same thing. Covered a lot of this last night on the stream. However, want to go over some of it. Bitcoin. Now this weekly roll up comes from Caleb and Brown, a crypto brokerage company. So if you want this weekly news roll up, and it's more than news, you know, they drop some charts in here. They drop some on-chain metrics. They talk about ETF news, ETF inflows, all sorts of stuff. So if you want this weekly roll-up dropped into your inbox, we have a link for Caleb and Brown in the description. And you don't have to deposit. You don't have to deposit or swap or do anything. You can get 2 things just by creating an account for free. 2 really valuable things. Number 1, you can get this weekly roll-up dropped right to your inbox. Number 2, you can talk to your own personal broker for free. And if you're new to crypto, if you're brand new to crypto, that's a lot of value because oftentimes I would imagine that someone who's brand new to crypto doesn't have a person in their life that they can really talk about crypto with in a meaningful way, right? You can hop in our Discord as well and get some exposure that way. But yeah, with Caleb and Brown making a free account, you can talk to your personal crypto broker for free. So anyways, coming down to here to Bitcoin, and I'm going to skip a lot because we covered this whole thing last night. But this continues to be a really important point in my mind. So Bitcoin opened the week at 117,455 US dollars, dropped to $111,649, and then rallied 4.3% on Powell's Jackson Hole address. Prices since slid to $110,000, and it's broken. We all know that it's broken under that. I think it's slightly under that as we speak. It has not broken 109, however. As Bitcoin hit $110,000, 235.5 million US dollars in long positions were liquidated. Bitcoin dominance fell to 58% on August 24th, then rebounded to 59%. So, you know, Bitcoin dominance seeing a little bit of a relief rally, but it isn't a confirmed downtrend. We'll look at that when we cover charts. And I do believe that Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to grind down. Bitcoin investment products saw $1 billion US dollars in outflows amid uncertainty over Fed policy before Powell's August 22nd address. So here's the major takeaway. Prices slid to $110,000 US dollars, likely from a dormant Bitcoin whale. Okay, I'll highlight this for you. Okay, likely from a dormant Bitcoin whale selling almost 25,000 Bitcoin, totaling 2.7 billion US dollars on August 25th, triggering a flash crash. Muffhead, welcome. Connor, that name being all one word is really throwing me off, but I'm just gonna call you Connor. Welcome in, Connor. Welcome, Muffhead. Welcome, Nesquik again. ADA to $3 by October, he says. Yeah, I mean, I look. I think that ADA is going to go above all-time highs. I think that if it's going to go above all-time highs, then $3 in October is base case, in my opinion. Because we're going to see, also in my opinion, $8 to $4 by the end of October. Yeah, I mean, very possible, very possible. Look, October is when all of the crypto ETFs are going to get approved. Now, I'm not saying that every application that's ever been filed is going to get approved, okay? Like, there are some applications sitting out there on the desk of the Securities and Exchange Commission. There's some applications sitting out there for meme coin ETFs, and I don't know if we can be really certain at this point that they're going to approve those. But I think it's a very safe assumption at this point in time that a pro-crypto SEC who is launching Project Crypto and is taking a tour across the U.S. to various key cities to update the public and meet with industry leaders, meet with crypto industry leaders about Project Crypto. So I think it's a very safe assumption at this point that a bullish pro-crypto SEC that is literally initiating Project Crypto, I think it's a safe assumption that they're going to be approving ETF applications for major coins in October, right? I think that's a very safe assumption. So that being said, we have October come, and we have a Cardano ETF approval come. I mean, $3 in October is not crazy. The question really is, after the ETF comes, if the rally goes into November, December, whatever, the question is, can we punch up toward $4, $5, $6? And how fast do we drop once we do? That's the real question, in my opinion. $3 is hey, welcome John 316. Crow is on fire, yes sir. Your little daily devotionals in the off-topic section are also on fire, sir. Thank you for those. So yeah, I think $3 is base case. So yeah, we have this price slid to $110,000, and this was likely from a dormant Bitcoin whale selling almost 25,000 Bitcoin. 25,000 Bitcoin at $2.7 billion on October 25th, triggering a flash crash. Where is all the crow haters? LOL. Pepe. Pepe probably wakes up at Pepe probably wakes up when it's already dark outside. He's probably nocturnal. So, John, I'm not sure that we'll see him in here for a morning stream. When your YouTube name is Pepe, and you're no offense, Pepe, we love you here on the Brew Crew, on the Blockchain Brew Show. But when your name is Pepe and your profile picture is of the frog, I just think that you're a degenerate crypto trader, and I think that you are up aping into meme coins at midnight. And then I think that you probably don't wake up until the morning is over. So there we go. Guys, a whale selling 25,000 Bitcoin on August 25th, triggering a flash crash. Like, this is $2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin. And we all know, and I covered this last night on the show, we all know that it does not take $100 billion, dollar for dollar. It doesn't take $100 billion to in $100 billion in sell-offs or $100 billion in purchases in order to move the market $100 billion. It takes far less. And the reason for that is because of leverage and derivatives. So a $2.7 billion sell-off of Bitcoin from an early whale, from a Satoshi era whale, that's what this was. Imagine you bought 25,000 Bitcoin for under $1, for under $1 a piece. Who knows how low? Who knows how low this guy bought these Bitcoin at? And a lot of Satoshi era wallets have been dumping. But if you bought 25,000 Bitcoin at 5 cents a piece, would you not? Well, I'm not saying that you would sell your whole bag. A lot of these guys haven't probably sold but a percentage of their bag. But, if you had all that Bitcoin, would you not would you not sell some off when Trench is my online acquaintance? Would you not sell some off when you see a sort of double top rejection at $124,000 for Bitcoin? Like you bought it 5 cents a piece and it's around $120,000. I mean, it was 115 when the flash crash happened. Like, would you not be looking to sell a nice little amount and go do God knows what they're gonna do after this, you know? So yeah, let's see here. The Philippines introduced the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act. Strategy bought some Bitcoin. So we covered a lot of this yesterday. Ethereum dominance peaked near 15% on August 24th, coinciding with its new all-time high. So yeah, that brings me to my biggest news of the day. We're gonna wait for T-Square later tonight to really dive into the Crow news. I am gonna look. I'll tease it though. Here we go. Share this tab instead, and I'll tease it, and we'll watch this little video. So Trump Media Group has become the world's largest holder of Crypto.com tokens. I guess there's no volume. Kronos will become a utility token of the Truth social platform. Wow. Guys, that's... So you have two big things going on there. Number one, the Trump Media Group has become the world's largest holder of Crow. And additionally, Crow will become a utility token of the Truth social platform. This means that they may be paying content creators in Crow. Their sponsorships may take place in Crow. Anything that you pay for on the Truth social platform, you may get a discount if you pay with Crow. So, any and every way that you can kind of cook up here that, that utility can take place on the platform, it looks like Crow is going to be the utility mechanism there. Trump bought 6.5 billion Crow. Yeah, and to be fair, it is the Trump Media Group, right? It is not Trump himself. However, Trump has ownership in the media group, so along with his family. So, it is indirectly Trump buying Crow. So yeah, this is very big stuff here, and any way that you can cook up utility on the True social platform, Crow is going to be the utility coin of the True social platform. This is really, 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 really big stuff. So next we have Tom Lee. Can I call him Thomas Lee? Where's he at? Look, I don't mean to be... No, I'm not going to say that. Yeah. Anyways. Thomas Lee. I'm just going to call him Thomas. Tom Lee calls for Ethereum bottom to happen in the next few hours. So, I'll go to the Cointelegraph article here. Share this tab instead. Also, before I forget... Guys, another piece of big news today is that Canary Capital has filed for a Trump coin. ETF, an ETF of the official Trump coin. So, there's that little bit of tidbit of news as well. Tom Lee calls for Ether bottom in the next few hours as Bitmine buys 4,871 Ethereum. Fundstrat's Tom Lee called out Ether's bottom as Bitmine bought $21 million more during the plunge, bringing total holdings to 1.72 million ETH. Guys, Tom Lee, by the way, is becoming, if you haven't noticed, he's becoming the Michael Saylor of Ethereum. So Real Meta Crypto says, smash that like, hit that bell. Yes, sir. Yeah, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it. It'll touch T-Square right in his banana zone, which happens to be his heart. So, there you go. Let me see. Sorry, I'm looking at some channel analytics. Okay. When Tom Lee, the Michael Saylor of Ethereum, says that he's injecting another $21 million of liquidity into Ethereum on a huge dip, don't fade it. When the Michael Saylor of Ethereum, when a multi-billion-dollar company, Bitmine, Tom Lee tells you, as we are in the final stages of a big dip, and yes, I say final stages. That's not to say it can't go lower. It's just simply to say that RSI is low. We are in oversold territory. So when Tom Lee tells you that he is injecting another $21 million into Ethereum in the final stages of a big dip, don't fade it. That's all I have to say. Hashtag don't fade Tom Lee. There you go. So, Fundstrat Global Advisors managing partner Tom Lee tipped Ether to bottom out on Tuesday, guys, today is Tuesday, amid a crypto market dip as his ETH treasury firm, Bitmine, bought another $21 million of Ether. Ether? I don't even know her. Sorry, you gotta give me 1 second to, I gotta write that in the chat now. Ether, I don't even know her. There we go. Where was I at? I have to make my own fun when I'm going live by myself, I have to make myself laugh because G-Square isn't here, so here we go. Banana Republic 2039. When alt season? If you go and look at the title of last night's live stream, which is clickbait, but it's clickbait with some truth. Within the answer, sir, is twofold. Number one, altcoin season has already begun. If you define altcoin season as a breakdown in Bitcoin dominance, then altcoin season has already started. But we are in the very early phases of capital rotation from Bitcoin into Ethereum. JG, are we rich yet? Not today, sir. We are in the very early stages, Banana Republic, of capital rotation from Bitcoin to Ethereum. we have not even begun the phase yet of capital rotation from Ethereum to large cap altcoins. Okay, so this is how the market works. It may not always be how the market works. Altcoins may decouple from Bitcoin sometime in the future, but that time is not today. We are still in a crypto market structure where capital rotates from Bitcoin to Ethereum, and then profits are taken by whales and capital rotates from Ethereum to large cap altcoins, and then finally capital rotates from large cap altcoins to mid caps, low caps, so on and so forth, even micro caps. I'm not saying there aren't some things that that run out of that order, right? I'm just saying, look, what's a coin nobody cares about anymore? Decentraland, Mana. Guys, Mana is going to get some kind of a spike at some point, but it's only going to get it in that phase where capital rotates from large cap altcoins to mid caps and down to lower caps. Why? Because nobody cares about Mana, right? Like, if Mana had some real heat behind it right now, or say there's a new coin that pops, like Hyperliquid did, or like Virtual's Protocol did. Yes, there are some micro caps that are going to, and there's some coins in every area of the market cap list that are going to pump out of that order. But for the most part, things are going to happen in that order, okay? So when altcoin season, number one, it's already started. Number two, Banana Republic, if you look at the title of last night's live stream, it said within 3 weeks. Why within 3 weeks? Because 3 weeks brings us to September 17th, the FOMC meeting, and a very likely rate cut of at least 25 basis points. Now, with the way that Trump just came out and fired, what was her name? Fired one of that woman who was one of the Fed governors, the Federal Reserve Board governors, who voted no for rate cuts in all of the previous FOMC meetings. Like, with the way that, like, Trump is headed toward a full-scale hostile takeover of the Fed, who knows? We could get a 50 basis point cut. But look, within 3 weeks, that is when we're going to get the cut. And from that juncture, September 17th, you are now a month away from mid-October ETF approval. So look, the answer is within 3 weeks, but the real hype cycle of the answer is October, okay? The technical answer is that it's sort of already begun, if you define altcoin season as a breakdown in Bitcoin dominance. So Tom Lee, managing partner Thomas Lee, tipped Ether to bottom out on Tuesday amid a crypto market dip as his ETH treasury firm, Bitmine, bought another $21 million of Ether, calling ETH bottom to happen in next few hours. Tom Lee on X on Tuesday at 1 a.m. UTC. So I was in bed last night around like 10:30 or 11, and I was seeing this on my phone, and when I saw it, the article was posted 1 hour before I saw it. And yeah, when we read down in the article, Tom Lee said in the next 12 hours he expected to see a bottom. So that brings us We're almost about 12 hours later. He says there's a chance Lee's so-called bottom is already in, as Ether had already started to recover at the time of writing, returning to trade above $4,430 again. Lee made his prediction as he shared a message from Mark Newton, the managing director of technical strategy at Fundstrat Global Advisors. Let me zoom that out for you. Lee made his prediction as he shared a message. Oh yeah, I already said that. Okay, Fundstrat Global Advisors, who said ETH is a very good risk-reward ratio here, adding that he was highly skeptical that it breaks the trends or breaks last week's lows. Ideally, this should bottom out sometime in the next 12 hours, near $4,300, and start to push back up to new highs and get above $5,100 and up to near $5,400 to $5,450, Newton said. He says, I would not fade this if I were you. When a man tells you when he's going to shove $1 billion into a low liquidity coin, you get out of the way. I don't know why he's calling ETH a low liquidity coin, but I don't know. Just a tweet. Calling ETH bottom to happen in next few hours. Ether is down 11% from all-time high. Lee's call came amid a crypto market crash initiated by Bitcoin, which plummeted to a 7-week low on Tuesday morning. Ether also suffered, tanking more than 7% to bottom at 43.13 on Coinbase, according to TradingView. Bitmine ETH holdings reached $7.5 billion. Meanwhile, Bitmine Immersion Technologies continued its aggressive accumulation of Ether, buying the dip on Tuesday. Ether, I don't even know her. Buying the dip on Tuesday with a purchase of 4,871 Ethereum, worth $21.3 million, according to Arkham Intelligence. This brought its total holdings to 1.72 million ETH, worth around $7.5 billion at the current market prices. On Monday, Bitmine disclosed that it had increased its crypto and cash holdings by $2.2 billion to $8.8 billion, adding over 190,500 tokens over the past week. Its crypto plus cash net asset value per share climbed to $39.84, up from $22.84 in late July. Crypto NAV is calculated as the crypto and cash asset value divided by fully diluted shares outstanding, of which the firm has 221.5 million. ETH treasuries continue to grow. Bitmine is the clear market leader of Ether treasuries with a 40% share of the total 4.3 million ETH held by corporate entities, according to Strategy ETH Reserve. Meanwhile, the world's largest crypto treasury firm, Michael Saylor's strategy, again on Monday, scooping up 3,081 Bitcoin for $357 million at $115,829 per Bitcoin. So, guys, like I said, Tom Lee, Mr. Thomas, is the Michael Saylor of Ethereum. Muffhead says, I'm bearish about a Trump coin ETF. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that we can say with confidence that we're going to get meme coin ETF approvals. I don't know yet. And again, look, the SEC has quite some time to, it's not going to have the same October deadline to approve this that it has for other coins. Hey, peeps, your like has been smashed. Thank you, do not you. Yeah, I don't think that we have the same October deadline for this Trump coin ETF filing. The October deadline that we have for all of the major coins, XRP, Solana, Cardano, so on and so forth. So let's just say that the first deadline for the SEC to respond to this, let's say it's in December. And let's say that they delay it or deny it. I mean, with the amount of hype in the market at that point, that could mark the top in December. Or it could mark a local top. I don't know. Time will tell. The old boomer wrecked the market with his stupid coin. Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's see here. On to some charts. Look at my analytics real quick. Okay. So, given all of that ETH speculation, let's see here. Ethereum. So let's go to the 12-hour chart. That's about when Tom Lee called this bottom here, right? Let me remove all my drawings. Remove 23 drawings from the chart. Okay, so Tom Lee called that bottom around here. Well, 12 hours ago. Okay, he called it. Let me not exaggerate. He did call it around there, though. So we do have these tweezer bottoms forming on Ethereum on the 12-hour. Let me go out to the daily. And it is holding the 21 MA on the daily. It's holding the 21 MA on the 12-hour. It dipped slightly below it, but it has now broken back above. And see, on the 12-hour, am I the only one that sees this as an inverse head and shoulders? On the 12-hour? Let's talk measured move. Pull the chart down. Let's find our trend line. Now let's pull this up to the neckline. And that's giving you a target of exactly what the article was saying. Slightly above what the article was saying. $5,546. Let's go to the daily and see if you can also call this an inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, I would still say that if we get a few more candles to fill out this right shoulder here, yeah, that also looks like an inverse head and shoulders on the daily. And I think that yeah, from bottom to top, it's about the same target as the 12-hour. The 12-hour and the daily are showing very much the same story there. So let's go down to the 4-hour on Ethereum. And you know, this is a bit of an inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hour as well. And if we take that from bottom to top and bring it, you know, the 4-hour is showing the same target. So there you go. The stochastics are on their way up on the 4-hour, and the histogram on the MACD, call it by its government name, the moving average convergence divergence, the histogram has turned from red to neutral, and the MACD line is is rounding a bottom and looking to move back up. RSI is looking to cross bullish here, and stochastics have begun their ascent back up. So all of those technicals are looking good on the 4 hour. Let me go back to the 12 hour and see what the, so that we had a bearish MACD cross, come in. But it's one of those things where, sometimes you get a very brief dip into the red on the MACD. Like, look at this. Look at this back here. Right? There are occasions where you get a rather brief turn into the red on the MACD histogram with a bearish cross, but then you turn it around. It's kind of like having a red dot. It's kind of like having a red dot, green dot. A red dot on market cipher followed by a green dot invalidating it. My charts are not even up. I'm so sorry. Share this tab instead. Okay. Local top, yes. Do you think Bitcoin topped out at $124.5 thousand? I absolutely do not. Oh, can I be a mod? Yeah, of course. Of course you can be a mod. Let me see here. I have to find you. There we go. Add as moderator. There you go. If you comment now, you should see the wrench. So, man, I feel bad that my charts were not actually on the screen. I got to get better at that. Anyways, this is the inverse head and shoulders I was talking about on the 12 hour, right? You can see it very clearly. The daily is showing the same inverse head and shoulders, and the 4 hour is showing the same inverse head and shoulders. And, what I was just saying is that we have a bearish turn on the MACD, the histogram moving from green to red, and a bearish cross on the MACD. However, there are times that, we see, like this one back here, that we see a very brief turn into the red on the MACD, and then we flip back bullish. It's kind of like having a red dot followed by a green dot on market cipher that invalidates the first red dot. So, you can't take one indicator alone. You have to take the full scope of what is being shown on the chart. Like I said, stochastics are low on the 4 hour. They're already recovering. They've already bottomed and they're recovering on the 4 hour. We're getting on almost all time frames this RSI looking to make a bullish cross. And the most important thing, when you have mixed signals on the indicators, support and resistance is king. Support and resistance is king. So, I would say that because of this, in support and resistance and market structure are king. So because of this inverse head and shoulders, I would say that if we take these candle bodies as the bottom of a range, I would say that we don't want to dip below. We don't want to significantly break 42.61 on Ethereum. A significant break of that with candle closes down here could invalidate this inverse head and shoulders. And funny enough, right, the 50 period moving average is lining up right with that area. So when indicators give mixed signals, market structure, support and resistance, and moving averages are king. That's record time, John 316. Let's see here. So, Ethereum, let's go down to the 1 hour. Okay, the 1 hour on Ethereum has broken above the 200-hour moving average. Stochastics are high though, so there is a chance that we break back below this. Yeah, there's definitely a chance that we come back down here to these levels. Right, what you're going to want to look for is, are we holding above the 200 MA on the 1 hour? And if we got above it on the 1 hour, can we get above it on the 2 hour? Looks like we've also done that. We've broken the 200 and we are now above the 21 on the 2 hour. So then the next question for me becomes, can we get above it on the 4 hour? The answer to that is we have never broken it on the 4 hour. So this is getting really interesting for Ethereum. What about the 3 hour here? We've also never broken it on the 3 hour. So we've reclaimed the 1 hour and the 2 hour, and look at this. We have this bullish MACD cross coming in on the 2 hour chart for Ethereum. So is that showing us that the MACD can now turn around on higher time frames? 4 hour, 12 hour, 1 day, right? If we go to even lower time frames than that, we come all the way down to the 1 minute. And look, back here, when Tom Lee had made this call, we broke the hell out of this 200 moving average on the 1 minute. And what's really bullish about this is that we've maintained it the whole time. We've come back down to test it here, here, and here, and we've held it. What about the 5 minute? Yeah, so on the 5 minute, we had this break back here, and we've continued to hold key moving averages on the 5 minute, right? We held, we broke the 200, and then we've held the 50, right? Every time that we're putting in higher highs and higher lows. Now this one could be a lower high. We'll have to see what happens. But then it becomes lower highs and higher lows, which is just simply consolidation. So that remains to be seen. With as high as the Stokes are on the 5 minute, it looks like we begin to consolidate here for a little bit. 15 minute. Okay, so can we break above the 200 moving average on the 15 minute? That's going to be our next signal for Ethereum. And the level to break there is $4,582. It does look like this 21 and this 50 are going to want to come up and put in a golden cross of the 200. How are the comments? I didn't actually make you a mod, Real Meta, but there you are. I got you now. Let's see here. Guys, if somebody became our 369th subscriber. Shout out to 369. whoever became our 369th subscriber, cheers to you. I don't have I'm not gonna pour a beer at 10 a.m. But we might not be the biggest, the best, or the brightest crypto community on YouTube, but we are absolutely the most hydrated crypto community on YouTube. And when you sub to the channel, you become a valued part of the Brew Crew, the most hydrated crypto community on YouTube. You also touch T-Square right in his banana zone, which happens to be his heart. Let's see. Ethereum. Let's go over to some Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin on the 1 hour. Well, this was yeah, this was all the way back here on Friday. But look what happened though. This is more pertinent on the 4 hour. When you really look what happened, we got this rejection off of the 200 moving average on the 4 hour. You know, as man, as bullish as everything felt that Friday. I mean, I should have seen this. I just wasn't looking at it. This rejection off of the 200 after an overextended green candle like that. I mean, that should have told us what was in store. Now, the good news is that, let me move my chart up. The good news here is that we have this very important range. Watch, I'll show you on the higher time frame. We have this very important range right here that holding above this range, even if we dip into it and then recover out of it, holding above this range constitutes the same kind of support and resistance flip that we saw back here when we dipped to $74,000. Right, I'll show you on the weekly. Holding this upper range marked by the green box that I drew is similar to when we came down and tested this support and resistance flip between, that range would have been drawn between $69,000 and $74,000, right? So what did we do? We came up here, we got really bullish back in this range. We came down, dipped all the way down to $74,000, but all we were doing was testing the support, the breakout of the, we were retesting the breakout of the support and resistance flip from the previous all-time high. What are we doing right here? We're coming back down, retesting the breakout of the support resistance flip from the previous all-time high at $109,000. So as long as we hold this range, which the 21 moving average on the weekly is like coming up to meet this, it's in this range now. Guys, as long as we hold this, this is a beautiful retest, in my opinion. So there we go. As long as we don't make a significant break below this range. And by significant break, I mean closing more than one candle underneath it. Let's see here. Daily. So on the weekly, the stochastics we're starting to touch this lower dotted line. On the daily, the stochastic RSI is showing oversold all the way down here at 6. It's well below the dotted line, and it is reaching well into oversold territory. How about on the 4-hour? Again, we're holding that range, and again, we're holding above that range, marked by the green line, and again, this is oversold territory. The MACD, the histogram is also moving from red to neutral, and the MACD is rounding a bottom on the 4-hour. We also have the CME gap, the CME futures gap sitting above us, and it's a huge gap ranging from 113 to 117. I expect that to fill sooner rather than later. And filling that would probably mark a full-scale recovery from this dip. We also have tweezer bottoms right here, these two candles on the 4-hour. Let's see. And that being said, we've been live for an hour, so join us this evening for the Blockchain Brew Show, and we'll come to you with crypto.com news and with a Cardano spotlight. I'm going to go ahead and run for this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.